Why is the true self so important to manifesting or in creating a fulfilling life? That's exactly what we're talking about today. You're listening to Mindful Manifesting, and this is Ariana Rollins. If you've ever felt like you're searching for validation, maybe for someone to see you or for a connection that finally feels like home, this episode is for you, because today we're going to explore why the most important relationship you'll ever have isn't with an outside person. It's with your inner being, true self, and with the unseen worlds that are always witnessing you, supporting you, guiding you, helping you manifest. They are always reflecting back the truth of who you are. And here's the interesting part. This is liberating. When you nurture this primary relationship, everything else, your relationships with other people, your manifestations, your connection, your health, your energy, your well-being, your life, it begins to flow from a place of expansiveness rather than lack. So let's dive in. We know this. Our true self isn't the persona we show the world. It's not the roles we play: mother, teacher, seeker, brother, sister, father, mother. It's not even in the stories we tell ourselves about what we've experienced, what we've accomplished, our past or our future. Let's think about our true self as the essence of you. And it's not like you were always your true self when you were born and it's never changing. No, it's growing and evolving just like you are. That's what's really amazing. So if you think about the true self is the essence of you, it's the part of you that's already whole, already connected to Source, already one with the infinite Creator. It's the you of you. It's the part of you that exists beyond the veil of separation, beyond the ego's need for being seen, validation, and beyond the human experience of striving or feeling worthy or not enough. So in my work, I call it the true self, but often people refer to it as the higher self. And it's that part of you that's always aligned with love, unity, and the knowing that you are all that is, no proving, no forcing, nothing. And when we talk about manifesting or creating a more fulfilling life, this is where it begins. Because true creation doesn't come from the mind, and most definitely does not come from external validation, someone seeing us, someone witnessing us. It comes from a place of alignment, and you'll often hear me talking about alignment and true self if you even listen to one of the episodes of the podcast. So why is it so important? Because when you're connected to the true self, you're not seeking someone else to reflect you back to yourself. You're not seeking being validated or your worthiness. You're just being it. It's almost like you remember it. It's not even a question. And that changes everything. Because when you have a desire, if you have that next thought, I don't know if I deserve that. A lot of people struggling in the world. I don't know if I'm worth that. It's like you cancel it. You have that beautiful, expansive thought, and those doubts put a big red X. But when you come from creating, from alignment, from connection to the true self, those doubts don't come in. We'll have to do a whole other episode on really what doubt is. because it's probably more than you realized. So let's look at a truth that I've come to understand deeply. Your primary relationship is with the unseen. Your true self. Maybe you have an intuitive guide. Maybe you've been on a spiritual path or you meditate regularly and you get that knowing. And it's like beyond what you have been thinking about, but it's like, yeah, this will work. This is real for me. This is true. These are the parts of us who see us fully. They're the parts of us who reflect back to us the truth, not of who we are, but what's possible for us, maybe who we were, who we're becoming. And it's not fixed. It's not fixed in time. We're constantly evolving. If you can truly feel that in your heart, and you can place that with God, Jesus, however you feel about that extra support and loving relationship that you're nurturing. Because if you don't have to prove anything, you don't have to be anything, you don't have to do anything for this recognition and awareness and being witnessed, you're already there. You're already seen and witnessed by Source, by God consciousness. Now, this doesn't mean our loving human connections aren't beautiful. They are. They're warm, they're nurturing, they're inspiring, they're loving, hopefully. I've had some that weren't like that. But I like to think of them as the bonus, not the source of our identity and how we see ourselves. Because when we start to expect another human to witness us, to define us, to validate us, they may be going through a tough time. They may be having a bad day. And if our feedback loop is with them, it's going to impact us. And it's going to influence how we're feeling about ourselves today and what's possible. Because no human can hold the space for an infinite being that you are. Only the unseen part of us can do that. I've noticed this in my own life. There have been times when I've craved someone to see me, to reflect me back to myself, to recognize how I'm contributing. And I've realized this craving comes from a lack of alignment with my true self. Because when I'm connected, when I'm aligned, when I'm tuned in, I want for nothing. There's a peacefulness, there's a joy, there's just relaxation. I'm not needing anything. And what's interesting is that feedback loop we look to others to reflect us back to ourselves is the very thing that creates that disconnection. Because we really can't have an aligned state of being and then look to others to confirm ourselves. So neediness falls away. Expansiveness returns. We're easier to be around people. We're not demanding from them that they see us in a certain way. Because we know who we are. We are seeing ourselves. We are accepting ourselves. It's a really beautiful state to be in. Now, this might make more sense to you because if you've ever listened to an episode, you'll notice at the end I usually say, when we confirm ourselves, we chart our own path to success. Let's unpack that for a moment. We're confirming ourselves. We're not looking to the outside world. Are we good enough? Did we do a good job? Am I loved? Am I appreciated? Am I recognized? Am I seen? No. When you confirm yourself, you chart your own path to success, your own manifesting success, the success of a fulfilling life, health, well-being, relationships. It really comes down to that, really does. Now, here's where I think it's really important, and it gets interesting. When we rely on humans to reflect us back to ourselves, we're actually putting in place a form of limitation. Because humans, as loving and amazing as they are, they can only see us through their own filters, their biases, their beliefs, their wounds, their own understanding of the world. And while those reflections, that warmth, can be loving and inspiring, it always feels good when someone says to me, I really love how you turn up, Ariana. You really contribute to my life. I love that, But here's the thing. They can never capture the totality of who we are. Think about it. Have you ever shared something deeply personal with someone, only to have them respond in a way that felt off, like they didn't grasp the depth of it? I've done this a few times, and I've regretted it every time, because I brought something out sacred, and they couldn't witness it. Well, it wasn't because they didn't care. It's because they couldn't see the fullness of what you were expressing. Because we're all humans, limited by our own perceptions. But the unseen worlds, they're not limited. They see you in your entirety. They witness you without judgment, without distortion, and without needing to have something back from you. Unconditionally accepting, let's say. And when you align with that true self feedback loop, you begin to pierce the veil of separation. You start to remember that you're connected with all these other humans. But here's the thing, is if you have been a sensitive person in your life, like me, empathic, that feeling of separation for me was the only thing that enabled me to feel myself, because I felt all and everything, and it was overwhelming. So that connection and alignment and integration with true self enabled me to be very present with other people. It enabled me to dissolve the separation between myself and other people. So how do we, there's a phrase that goes around in the spiritual realms, pierce the veil, pierce this veil of forgetting who we are at our core. How do we deepen this primary relationship with the true self and the unseen? It starts with practice, with turning inward again and again. Meditation really helps when you get triggered by someone or a situation that didn't unfold in a way that you wanted it to. Focusing on your heart and asking, true self, what's so troubling about this? And you'll get an insight. And often for me, it completely calms that mind that goes spinning. And it's like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. I completely see it now. It dissolves it. So instead of that thought like bouncing around in my head, or that conversation that didn't sit well with me, and I'm trying to analyze it and figure out what I should say next, true self will cut through all of that noise and just give me exactly what was going on and why I got so triggered. So it starts with practice, turning inward, and asking the questions. Maybe, hey, true self, what are you trying to communicate? What are you sharing with me today in these moments of challenge in our life? And paying attention to the signs, recognizing and celebrating the synchronicities, even if no one else sees it. You see it. You see the whispers of your intuition, and that as you follow it, life unfolds in much greater ease. So it's about spending time in nature, maybe in meditation, maybe with people you can just be with. You don't have to prove, you don't have to overperform. Anywhere that you can listen to that soft, subtle voice within you. And here's the beautiful part. When you do this, when you make this inner connection your priority, your outer world begins to shift. It starts to align with that beautiful, peaceful, calm, centered, loving part of you. Manifestations start flowing. They're easier because you're no longer forcing. You're no longer coming from lack, a disconnection. You're coming from that place of alignment, knowing that life has a way of working out for you, knowing you're already supported, you're seen. There's no proving anymore. And from that place, everything flows with more grace, more expansiveness. Life gets easier. Human connections become a bonus, a beautiful, warm, inspiring part of life, but not the source of our well-being, not the source of who we are. And when you live from that, when you start to live in true alignment, that's freedom. That's freedom. And that's when you start to create a life, or co-create, let's say, that's fulfilling at the deepest level. So let's circle back to our opening question. What is the true self? Why is it so important to manifesting or creating a fulfilling life? The true self is the part of you that's always one with the divine, with God consciousness, with all that is, with Source. And it's important because everything you create, every dream, every goal, every relationship flows from that place of inner alignment. You don't need someone to change who they are. You don't need life to be exactly as you want it to be, because you're trusting that life has a way of working out for you. And when you nurture that primary relationship with the true self, you step into a life of, I would say, abundance, true abundance. You think it, and then it starts to flow in that direction. Maybe not immediately, but you start to put the pieces together and you're like, oh, that's why I did that. That's why I made that choice. And this abundance does not come from other people seeing and witnessing you. It doesn't come from external validation. That new client that you enrolled who's paying you at your top dollar, or if you're employed, that new pay rise. It doesn't puff you up. It's just an of course. Abundance comes from of course. It's that knowing you are supported by more than just the clients that you have, your business, your job, your family, your friends. You are loved, you are connected, you are enough, you are worthy, you are deserving. So my invitation to you today is, where in your life, or maybe who in your life, are you seeking external validation? Who do you need to see you? This is a good question, and I have my own answers. There are certain people in my life, I'm like, I just want them to witness me. I just want them to validate me. And when I do that, I give my power away. And it's like I elbow out my true self. So I invite you, if this feels aligned for you, try this for the next week. Every time you catch yourself looking to someone else to see you, recognize you, validate you, pause. Take a breath. Don't blame yourself for it. We all do it. We want to be loved because this planet is meant to be a truly loving place. And when you're aligned and connected with your true self, it feels more and more like that. What if you, in this week, ask the true self, focus on your heart, what's so troubling from me? What am I looking for? Troubling from this situation. What am I looking for from that other person? And just feel, sense, listen for the answer. Might not be immediate, but it might be later on in meditation or when you wake up in the morning. What am I looking for from this other person? And it's going to grow your awareness. Super, super helpful. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for walking this path, your spiritual growth, and succeeding in the material world, because we're meant to have both. We are meant to proceed in balance and constantly refining that balance. And remember, you're already seen. You're witnessed, you're already home. And as you confirm yourself, you chart your own path to success. If you've enjoyed this episode, I would love for you to share with a friend, someone who maybe needs to hear this message. They're looking to the outside world to confirm themselves, and we know that doesn't work. So much love. Thanks for being here. Bye.